Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Mike TV. In case you hadn't noticed, that is a jerboa. That's right. We are in Ark Ragnarok, to be specific. Come here, little buddy. Come on, little buddy. There we go. All right. So this is it's not a series. It's a special episode. I had spent some time in Ark, and especially Ark Ragnarok, and I thought I would show you something that I had worked on actually quite a while ago, and a friend of mine told me that, you guys might want to see it. So, here it is. That's right. It is my Paracer base. Gotta pull back a bit because it is a little bit large. That's right, yes, and of course, I named it Howl's Moving Castle. Now, the first thing I need to let you know is that this design is not my design. I'm a big boat builder. I love building boats. My friends who play Ark with me will tell you, he almost never touches land. He just practically lives on his frickin' ships. Well, this is true, but, I told him, I said, you know what, if we ever get to, like, Scorched Earth or Ragnarok, and there's, significant land mass, I'll build a land base, a mobile land base. And I looked at all the different critters, and I figured that the Paracer was probably the best choice. Now, like I said, this is not my original design, but I did modify it heavily. So, without further ado, let's take a look at all the different sides. As you can see, it is made out of metal, solid steel. And I did my best to try and cover up the Paracer as much as possible, but I didn't want to cover up his head because, look at him, he looks so cute. Yeah, he does. Well, I think he is. I mean, everybody else calls it the penis horse, but I dig him. All right, so let's see if I can actually get a hold of the ladder. Climb on up to the entrance. Now, the moment you come in, because this was actually built in anticipation of the desert area that hopefully will be opening soon in Ragnarok, which is the map that we're on. So that's the reason for the loud noise, because we have not one, not two, not three, not four, yes, 5 air conditioning units to keep this mobile platform at a pretty good temperature. Okay, here in the back, of course, we have our fabricator. And if you notice, although it is mostly steel, I did want to have a few windows so you can see outside. Now, in the build that I based this build on, the fabricator is not in the back here. But in the original build, the fabricator was stuck up high, and you really couldn't reach it to, access the fabricator, to turn it on, to access its inventory, to build or do anything that you wanted to do. So here, in the corner right here, is our power generator. I don't know why this door is open, but yeah, it's pretty well secured, as you'll see as we go around. And then right next to it is the refrigeration unit, and of course, if I'm out and about and I'm carrying other people with me, I think that, they should be able to look out and see where they're going. So I do have 2 windows that look down so you can actually see where you're going. Now, of course, in the front here, we have a couple of doors that open out onto a couple of nice platform patio areas. Although it does have automated turrets, no, they do not actually work. Yes, you can turn it on. Yes, it will fire, but it won't do any damage to anything. So I just never took them off. But what I did try to do is I tried to keep the cabling to an absolute minimum. So if you notice, I have little junction boxes as close to the guns as possible to eliminate any excess cords, just fouling up the whole area. So if you've noticed, I do that with the air conditioning units as well. I have the air conditioning units as close as possible to the junction boxes. That way you don't have those little cords going everywhere, as well as the AC unit. You know, just to make it look cleaner and clearer. Now, if you come up this ladder right here, you will see that we have our smithy desk. Now, yes, I know that it isn't the most modern smithy desk, but for space constraints and the fact that, you know, it can hold a good bit anyway, you know, there's really no point in, you know, not having the smithy desk. And then, of course, up here, we have a cooking pot. Again, no room for an industrial grill or things like that, but, you know, you can throw ingredients in there and you can definitely, you know, cook whatever you need. And it's also a nice view. And it really was necessary to make it a double height like this, just because it was just too cramped. Otherwise, it just really was. So, I believe that is everything down here. So then we come through this door. Now, in the original build that I based this build on, this door was not right here. It actually was up there. On the, it was actually right here. So we did not do that because it just didn't seem to be a very ergonomic design. So I brought the door all the way down to base level. And if you open it up, you can see that you're not going to just walk straight out and fall to your death. Then we come up. I was thinking about putting a railing diagonally up this ramp, but I figure, you know, if you're going straight up, why would you go off to the side and risk falling and dying? Now, one thing I did notice is that, yes, there's a glitch right here where you can actually get hung up, where your character just kind of hangs up in the air. So I did have to lay these fence foundations, but just laying these two is more than enough that you can actually get through here reasonably well without laying too many and then having the bottom fence foundations sticking out everywhere. So again, we have a nice little balcony right here so you can look out. So although the turrets do not work, you can stand up here with a long neck, and still a long neck with a scope, and, you know, you're good to go. Especially if you happen to have, you know, an ascendant long neck. Yeah, you'll still take them out pretty good. So we come in here. This is the captain's quarters. Again, another AC unit. We do have a nice chemistry bench. And again, if you remember downstairs, I had the one junction box that was actually above the AC unit. That was so we could minimize the cord lengths that attach to this AC unit and this chemistry bench. Again, just trying to keep the clutter down to a minimum. And of course, we have a nice cabin with all of our extra items that we might need. And we also have a forge right here, basic forge, kind of like the fireplace, only I didn't want to have that giant chimney sticking all the way out, and unlike the fireplace, you can actually smelt ore at it. So it's kind of like a makeshift fireplace. And of course, we got the double bunk bed, because it just looks better than having that cheap straw mattressy looking bed. And then we come in here, and this is, what do they call that? You know, those nice little add-on sunrooms that we have here in the U.S. I forget what they call it in Great Britain. You know, off to the side or the back of the house. So I kind of made a little sunroom here. You've got a nice glass roof and walls. You can, you know, park your butt. You know, take a load off. And that's kind of what I tried to do to give it a little bit more of a bigger feel. Is, you know, I put the windows there instead of just having, you know, straight metal. I wanted to feel that it wasn't claustrophobic and cramped, you know. And this we will get to in a little bit. So heading on up the ramp to the third level now. Again, a little safety with the rails. We have the top of the base. Now, again, I don't know if they nerfed it, but the minigun pretty much will not hit anything unless it's practically on top of the Paracer. So, if it's a Giga, that's not a good thing to have. But, again, I think that it was pretty much nerfed by Wildcard. But that's one of the reasons why I gave the Paracer, you know, basically the steel skirt that goes all around them, except for the head, because, you know, I want them to be able to look out and see what's coming. Now, we've got a box here for storing extra ammunition. And then, of course, we've got a feeding trough right here. Now, why would you have a feeding trough? The gun doesn't require food, it just requires ammo. Well, right here is where you would land if you have a flying mount, right? So you would come in, hot, you know, don't have to worry about it, hit this, and you will stop instantly, and then just turn to the right, park your bird, hop off, and you don't even need to have food on the bird. There's food right there in the trough. The bird is good to go. Now, in the original that I based this base off of, this actually went out further. And I just felt that it was a little untidy, and I just decided to trim that up. So, it was actually a pretty, well, I don't want to say easy, but it wasn't as complex as the build that I base it off of another YouTuber, because I really streamlined it. I saw what they did, and I thought, you know what, that doesn't kind of work for me. I'm going to go ahead and make some alterations. For example, right here, you know, that goes right down to the captain's cabin, right? So you can get down one of two ways. If you want to get straight down to the cabin, you can go that way, or you can go back down the ramp. I do like the fact that it is made out of steel. Obviously, going up against, you know, larger predatory creatures, steel gives you a lot better defense, because my first Paracer base that I built with a friend of mine, it was not made out of steel. It was made out of mostly stone and wood, and it got destroyed. They, you know, the Giga that attacked us, it just ripped right through it, almost like it was tissue paper. I feel that I have most of the essentials that I need to basically give it a nice mobile base. We've got cooking up there, we've got the smithy right there, we've got the fabricator right there, you know, we've got a refrigerator right there. We don't have a preserving bin, but, you know, I figured that the refrigerator is good enough. You don't have to preserve and turn, you know, meat into jerky. And of course, yes, just for an extra little, you know, sense of decor, I went and took an artifact and put it on this pedestal right in the middle. Now, it really wasn't that difficult to place some of these items. You notice how they're actually sitting flat with the foundation. Actually sinking the foundation onto the Paraceratherium's saddle was probably the most difficult for me, because you know how Ark likes to be. You know you're doing it right, and yet it just won't place either. Uh-oh, I think I just ran out of power. Yep, ran out of power. We have to put some gas in there. All right, well, let's see if we have any gas. It is a lot quieter now, isn't it? Let's see here. There we go. No, that isn't what I want. Hold on. Thought I had some gas. Where is it? Well, anyway. So, that's basically it. I mean, let me see. Where's... No. Is the inventory empty? Huh. What happened to my whole inventory? That's weird. Anyway. Basically, that's the design. I did streamline it, like I said. I wanted it to be a lot more easygoing. I put in this double height, because this was actually a solid steel wall. And a friend of mine was like, well, you can't really see where you're going, especially if there's somebody inside and you see a threat come up. you know, you want to be able to take them on. So I went ahead and knocked that wall out, and I actually put pillars on the sides, you know, to give it a little bit so it could snap to it. So I had to, you know, take out completely the whole front end, put in foundations so the pillars will snap to the foundations, so they'll snap to the corners correctly. Then I ended up putting in the greenhouse walls, which we all know greenhouse walls are very, they're not very sturdy. But again, it's just basically to give you a little bit of a view while you're traveling. So yeah, that's basically it. That is my Paracer base. Trying to angle to, there we go, climb on down. And I did close it off here, although it cuts through the Paracer. It actually is supposed to go around his belly, but I didn't want to go down one more because that just looked too bulky and cumbersome. But yeah, that is my Paracer base. I know it's really kind of big here to see it from this angle. Let me go up so you can see it from a higher angle. There we go. So you can see it. Yeah, it is as close to Howl's Moving Castle as you will get. Again, this is not my original design. I'm basing this off of another YouTuber's design, and I just heavily modified it and changed it to meet my needs. But yeah, go ahead, and if you want, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. You know, do you think that it's a pretty good base, pretty good design? If it helps to inspire you guys to build your own, you know, mega Paracer base, you know, let me hear your comments. Tell me what you think. I look forward to it. And as always, everybody out there, I always enjoy bringing these videos to you guys. I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoy making them. Have a great day. Take care.